Thank you. I want to welcome everybody to our second intern panel for the virtual learning series. Today we have Caitlin, Emily, and Konrad with us. They were all interns and are now full-time employees. And they're going to talk to you a little bit about their internship and their early career at Corning, and are open to answering questions as well. So we hope you shoot some at them. So Caitlin, are you kicking it off?
Yeah, let me share my screen. Okay. Can you all see?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, wonderful. So just to start, my name is Caitlin Murray. I may have met some of you a couple weeks ago when I spoke about the Corning Professional Women's Forum. So I'm happy to be back and see you all again. I went to college at Marist College. I got a BA in mathematics and a minor in information systems, and I graduated in 2016. I did intern with Corning during the summer of 2015 before my senior year. And so a few months into my senior year, when I was back at school, I got an offer to return back to Corning full-time as a member of the IT Rotational Leadership Development Program. And I happily accepted. It was a really wonderful experience. I really enjoyed it. I learned a lot, loved every moment, basically. And I graduated last year, sadly, so from the program. And now I'm a business analyst in the IT manufacturing space. So it's been a great experience so far.
For he asks a question, yeah.
Oh, Forky is from Toy Story. I know that, but I don't know the movie.
I hear a little voice.
All right, I think I'll go next. Yeah, I'll just go next. If you can hear me, I'm Emily Steves. Nice to meet everyone virtually. I graduated from St. Bonaventure University with a journalism and mass communication degree back in December of 2014. So I was part of the class of 2015 and then decided to graduate early. I interned during the summers of 2013, 2014, and then actually had some project work that extended through the fall of 2014, so my last semester as a college student. And I feel like there's a lot of engineering interns across the company. Of course, we're a very engineering-focused company, but I am a little different in that I'm from corporate communications and do communications work. And so I did 2 summer internships within the corporate communications function, doing executive communications and then digital comms the next summer. And since then, started full-time right in corporate communications shortly after I graduated, and then have worked for Corning Automotive Glass Solutions, which is a business within the company, for the last 3.5 years, and now working as a supervisor for Marcom in that function.
Awesome. Is it, does that lead me to my turn?
Yeah, it's your turn.
Hey, nice to meet you guys. I'm Konrad. I interned with Corning in the summer of 2017, coming right off of graduating with my master's from Niagara University, where I was a student athlete, graduated with a international business / supply chain degree. And then following that summer, I got hired full-time, and I've been working with Gorilla Glass, specifically with our screen protector division, which is called Amplify. And we partnered with Otterbox, who sits out in Colorado. So it's been a really neat experience for me, because a lot of times in Corning, again, like Emily was saying, it's very engineer focused, whereas now I'm kind of on the business side doing more of a sales role / supply chain role, and working with really cool, like, hipster people in Colorado, going out there. So I've thoroughly enjoyed my time here at Corning so far. And if you guys, I'm sure you guys have questions, so I'll be happy to answer any of them.
Okay, I'll give you some questions. How did you guys learn about Corning?
So I'll start with that. Corning actually came to Marist one of the years that I was there. I wasn't able to attend the session. I had another commitment, but my roommate had grabbed their contact information, and I didn't reach out to them that summer. I already had a job lined up, but I reached out the following summer when I was looking for internships, and they allowed me to apply and interview for the job. So it was kind of weird how smoothly the interview process went. I had a phone call with my soon-to-be supervisor to learn about the job and, to get to know one another. And maybe 20 minutes after I got off the phone with her, I already had, an offer and HR calling me to say that I was accepted and that they were going to, let me come for the summer. So it's very interesting, my process, and I'm glad I found the opportunity. It's been great so far. Yeah, so for how I learned about Corning, oh, go ahead, Konrad, do you want to go?
No, after you.
Okay. So the vice president of corporate communications at the time when I was in school, he has since retired, but he had sent a note out to our dean at the journalism school asking if we had any folks that would be interested in an intern at Corning for the summer. And St. Bonaventure is not too far from Corning. It's about an hour and a half away. So I just decided to give it a shot and see if I could get an internship. And within communications too, it's kind of rare to, and probably in many cases, it's rare to find not only an internship that pays you, but an internship that pays you pretty well. So I was excited to help with my tuition bills by getting an internship at Corning potentially, and ended up getting the job, even though I think they wanted someone with a little more experience, but was able to show them that I wanted to learn and was honest about not knowing a lot of things that they were asking me about when I interviewed for the internship. So that alumni connection was really strong there.
Yeah, I guess my experience was a little bit different. I was sitting at a soccer game at my college at the time, watching the girls team play, and I just bumped into one of the photographers, talking to him, and we got talking, and I told him my interest. I want to find an internship for the upcoming summer, and he said, "Hey, I work for this company called Corning, and I think they're looking for some help in the supply chain world / sales." So, long story short, bumped into a random guy. He's become a mentor for me. He helped me get in with Corning, and I really just learned to, you're kind of always networking, always talking to people. Never be afraid to kind of step out of your comfort zone, because a random conversation led me to talking to all you guys, and that conversation was three plus years ago.
Wow. I remember all of you as interns. So was there a reason why you chose to work for Corning after you had an internship?
Yeah, so I had a really great time in Corning for my internship. I had a really great summer. I was always a 100% work person in school, and so I was able to really learn how to get a better work-life balance when I interned here. So it really helped me grow as a person and a leader, which was great. And so especially getting an offer in the leadership development program, I knew that I was going to be learning even more about the company and the different areas of IT and the different responsibilities, which are just so different no matter where you go. And so I knew that, I would be getting a great learning opportunity. It was kind of like college 2.0 in the working world. And so it was just a great opportunity that I couldn't turn down because I was still so eager to learn. I didn't know where my true passion was exactly. And so that really gave me the opportunity to expand my personal skills, but also leadership skills and IT skills in the Corning environment. Yeah, and for me, Corning, I went to school in Olean, New York. I'm from near the Buffalo, New York area, so again, not too far away from home, but just far enough away where my parents can't just pop in without a warning, which is great. That helps. But what really sealed the deal for me, I think, was the first summer that I interned, my grandmother passed away, and I was very close with her. And without even thinking, it was a Sunday evening, and I just took off, just went home, didn't even think to tell anybody that I wouldn't be at work the next day, and thought to send an email later that night. And they were so kind and just very nice about the whole situation. And I even got a card in the mail from the whole department that they'd signed. And I think in some situations, and, you know, my experience is limited because I've only ever worked for Corning, but I was very touched by not only did they care about me, number one, and knew my name, but they also cared enough to send a note and show that they care. And that really resonated with me and was the reason why I returned for the following summer. I did try to get an internship elsewhere, but ultimately ended up at Corning. And when I graduated, there happened to be a position open. I didn't just walk into it. I had to go through the whole interview process. But as much as I thought I might want to go out and get an experience elsewhere, I couldn't forget how kind people were and how I'd been treated as an intern. You know, not just someone who did busy work, but did real work, and people cared about me. And that ultimately is why I decided to go back.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that, Emily. The reason I ultimately came back to Corning after my internship was similar. Like, everyone treated you so kindly. It was a great summer. Unfortunately, you guys can't experience, I guess, how we did, but I'm sure the virtual internship is going to be great and is going very well so far. I came back just because of the opportunity to work on this project and work with the people I'm working with now. They were all awesome during my interview process. And before the whole pandemic, I was able to travel a lot. And that's ultimately why I wanted to be in this position, traveling out west a lot, going to Asia. It's going to be different now, but we'll make the best of it, and we'll go day by day.
Thank you. Yep, for sure. What memory or experience stands out to you the most in regards to your intern experience with Corning? It can be a project related, a funny story, anything that like really stands out to you from when you were spending a summer with us.
So when I interned in 2015, all the interns prior, I believe, stayed at local hotels around the area, which was great. And then my summer, they had actually just opened up a new dorm at the local community college up the hill. And so I was the first class to actually stay there that summer. And so that was my favorite experience by far. I mean, it was great to work for the company, but I think coming back to the location where a lot of other interns were staying as well, it helped me build a lot of relationships and friendships with other people, you know, outside the working world and with people that aren't even in my space, you know, or my building. So I was able to meet a lot more people that way, and definitely made my summer a lot better being able to stay at the dorm.
Yeah, and I'm jealous of that. That sounds like fun. We were in our hotels were very nice, but I think the sense of community is probably much better at the college, so that must have been fun. So I was the years before that where we stayed at the hotels, and I'd say my experience isn't, you know, something that stands out as far as a memory goes is probably when I was treated so well after my grandma passed away. That's one that really stands out. But project related, my second internship with Corning, I worked on a project with LinkedIn recruitment and kind of merged over to the HR side and had been doing a lot of things with not only trying to recruit interns and showcase stories on LinkedIn to help advertise, I guess, the internships at the time, but also, and that's how I turned into the fall internship. It kind of extended into there. But one thing that stands out from that is that I actually was given the opportunity to hop on the shuttle to go down to North Carolina. And I had never heard of anyone sending an intern anywhere to travel within the company. And so I got to meet other interns from different locations and, had dinner with them, and all these people that I had interacted with on various internal platforms within the company, I actually got to meet in person through that project work. I thought that was really neat, and I was super excited to get on the private jet and fly down to North Carolina, which I'm not sure what the status is with that right now, but that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, one of my greatest memories is just the people I met during the internship. There was actually a group of about 5 of us who became really close friends, and for the last 3 years we've been meeting up, hanging out. I actually live with one of the guys I met from the internship, so I could go on and on about all the stories we had on the weekends, all the fun around the Finger Lakes. But work professional, it was a great summer, and I'm really grateful for all the people I met.
If I remember correctly, Konrad, didn't you come to orientation for the interns on your very first day of working full-time for Corning and do a presentation?
I did. My first full day hired. I came in to give back to the intern program. No, I loved it. It was really. I've done a couple internships, and by far Corning treated you the best. Is there any questions from one of the interns for either Caitlin, myself, or Emily?
Nothing in the chat, but we had a few submit in advance. So that's kind of what we're reading off of.
Awesome.
Yeah. So do you believe Corning adheres to their values, and why?
I believe so, yes. So, I mean, the one that always sticks out to me is, we have 7 values, so one of them is the individual, and, it really, applies to Emily's story with her grandmother. And, I've had different other experiences as well where my supervisor and my team and the organization is, very understanding. If you have other commitments that, are family-based, they're willing to work with you as much as possible to make sure that you don't miss, those really important things. And, we always continue to build on it. It's not that we're not strong in that value, but it's just something we always want to continue and build a long time in the future. So I currently lead the 24/7 health and safety team in our IT building, and so we're constantly working to invest in our employees more as a person, not so well as an employee, but more as a person, and focus on health and mental wellness, just to make sure that we always provide a safe space and place that they really want to come to work to every day. So I think the individual is the most important value to me, and I've always had a great experience when it comes to that value.
So we do have a couple questions that came in through the chat. One is, did you feel the internships helped you overcome the skill gap between college and your job?
I would say yes. I went into college thinking I wanted to be a teacher. My mom was a teacher, so I've grown up around the school district. And so that was the environment that I was familiar with. Quickly realized once I got to college and took an education course that that was not the route for me. I could not go that way. So I kind of had to do some backpedaling and soul searching. And I had never worked in a corporate setting before, never had an office or a cubicle or anything. So I really didn't know what I was getting into when I came to intern with Corning. So it was just kind of all right, it's an adventure. Let's see how it goes. We'll see what I learn. And I actually really enjoyed it. The business world was definitely more of a fit for me than I would have thought going into college. So having an internship definitely, puts you out in the field, and that's where you're really going to learn if it's a good fit for you or not.
Yeah, I'll go next. Definitely the internship with Corning helped me overcome the skill gap between college and then the future job I took with Corning. Just some of the head start, any company that you go to, or Corning specifically, right? You have your own kind of internal language with acronyms, the culture, the way people talk. So just getting that head start during the internship made my transition into the real world, into getting my job much easier.
Yeah, I think for me, kind of similar to Caitlin and getting exposure to what this kind of environment would be like. I never pictured myself working for a Fortune 500 company. Kind of was thinking nonprofit. In an ideal world, I could work for a newspaper and still get by. But unfortunately, it's not the 1960s, 70s, 80s anymore. I think the thing that I didn't learn a lot in college was sort of the marketing part of the communications job. And when I went to school, I didn't imagine that I would be working in sort of a marketing role. And what I found coming to Corning is that people were always very patient with explaining things. And I think the biggest lesson I learned was that I could say I didn't know, which I think during my interview set me apart, because I didn't try to pretend that I knew what this was or what an intranet site was. I'd never heard that word before. So I think having that exposure and working with patient people that really believed in the interns and seeing them as a talent pipeline helped them recognize what the potential in me, and also gave me exposure to what the corporate lifestyle could be like and how I could fit in, despite thinking my whole life that that wasn't what I wanted.
Okay, so this next question is a little bit similar to the one you already answered, but I think it's asking more about if you felt like you did have a skill gap between what you learned in college and being able to do the job that you're in.
1000%, yes. I went to school for mathematics, took a couple IT courses, but landed in IT. And to be very honest, I've had 6 roles in the past 4 years, and I was not prepared for any of them. But I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean that, I wanted to step out of my comfort zone and try new things and constantly, push my boundaries. And I've always grown up thinking, you got to challenge yourself. You got to do things that you're not familiar with. And so, I'm not doing too much math, but I think I'm learning just so many new things, which is exactly what I wanted to do. Also, I always want to continue to stay a student. And so I'm definitely always a student at Corning, because I'm always stepping into different opportunities and new roles that I honestly don't have any experience in. But the teams are always very helpful, and as long as you ask questions, people are willing to talk, and as long as you're willing to learn, you're going to be brought up to speed in no time.
Yeah, I agree with you there, Caitlin. I just piggyback pretty much what you said.
There is one question I skipped. What are the job or internship positions that you can look for with a mathematics bachelor's background?
So, at least from my experience and what I was interested in, I looked a lot at data analytics, and I did have a small IT background, so I did look at a lot of IT opportunities just because technology is so intriguing to me, because we live in such a technological world and technology isn't going anywhere. So I was like, it's not so bad to learn about technology and to get in that field. But I just always did some soul searching. I was part of a program in school where, we did a lot of future planning, and we would, research what majors we were interested in and what type of careers were available in that type of field upon graduation. And so that type of class really helped me, kind of learn what opportunities were available, but still kind of carved my own path. I thought IT was the way to go, since you can't spell my name without it. I thought it was destiny, so that's where I am.
That's funny. I don't know if any of you can answer the next one about openings for a person with research background in materials and chemistry. I know we're primarily a research company. There's lots of positions that you can look into for that background.
Yeah, that's out of my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just encouraged.
But just a quick. Oh, go ahead, Caitlin.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, if you look today and there's nothing, just keep on top of it. Something could pop up tomorrow or next week, just because it's not available today doesn't mean it's never available. So,
yeah. I used to work in headquarters, and so I don't know a ton about the research and more of the science fields beyond my role. So, but I worked at headquarters for quite a few years, and then moved up to Sullivan Park, and was really pleased by sort of that college campus atmosphere. It was really cool to go from sitting in, an office building downtown to this awesome research center that is world renowned, and especially with all the smart people that are there. So as Caitlin said, even if there's nothing available today, it's a cool place to be. And even for someone like me that doesn't have that background, the energy is just infectious.
That was a great answer. So when you guys were interns, did you have an opportunity to talk with leadership at Corning?
So I interned in IT, and we definitely had a few opportunities. We always have a leadership luncheon, so the IT interns will get together and we'll just have lunch with all the IT leadership, so the CIO and their staff. So that's always a great opportunity because we get to connect with them one-on-one more, and it's more informal. We're usually off-site, out of the workplace, so we can connect on a non-work level. And we also presented our summer experience before we left at the end of the summer, and so the leadership was always there as well, and so they'd hear what we were up to that summer and, how our experience was with Corning, which was great.
Yeah, similar. During my internship, we had several opportunities to present in front of leadership, and then afterwards just have kind of a little cocktail hour without the cocktails and just walk around and talk to them. And for instance, I got to meet the GM of Gorilla, John Bain, and just hit it off with him, talking about personal things too, just our hobbies, both liking soccer. So they're really down to earth. Yeah, they want to talk business, but they also give you the time of day to learn about yourself. And then again, we hit it off talking about something completely not even related to Corning.
Yeah, we in communications and probably elsewhere within the company, there's always that end of internship presentation where you're presenting to leadership usually. So there was that exposure to some of the directors in the group. But I think one of the other unique things was being able to participate in employee resource groups, which are, run by employees in the company that have, I'm probably going to botch this, but have similar interests or ideas culturally or, just within their groups. And we participated in one, I think it was the Corning Professional Women's Forum, and they invited interns to join. And we participated in a book club type of thing where we read Lean In by Sheryl Sandberg and then met up at the Knoll, which is a building in Corning, and had a reception where we discussed the book. And that was interesting because I had exposure to executives beyond communications. Like I believe our HR vice president at the time was up there and a few others that supported the group. So even having that casual relationship and connection with executives within a different function was really interesting.
Thank you. Looks like we do have another one for Caitlin. You mentioned that when you got an offer from Corning, you were involved in a leadership development program. Is that something you had applied into or something that was offered to you based on your interviews?
Yeah, so the IT rotational program is still actually relatively new. I'm only the third person to have joined it, so there was only 2 people prior to me. So it was very new. They wanted to, invite more people and get more people involved to continue to build it and grow it. So I didn't apply to it. Corning had told me, we're going to reach out. If we're interested, we'll let you know if you have a full-time offer or not. And so they basically reached out, and instead of having, a specific job role, they said, we want you to join this program instead. And I thought it was a pretty good deal, and it actually was a really great experience, and I'm very glad that I took it.
Thank you. Does anyone else have any questions? So we may be wrapping it up here since there's no more questions coming in, but I would ask if each one of you could give the group some advice or guidance. As they're leaving college and entering into careers or internships, do you have any advice you can give them?
Yeah. So, just based off my experience, you never know where you're going to end up in the world. You could have, all the knowledge in the world to do the job right, or you may have no knowledge to do the job. But, no matter what kind of role you end up in, just give it 110%, be willing to learn. I really think that's all, people care about. And I know that, anyone can do the job if they're willing to learn and put in the effort to, make sure they learn the knowledge to do the job successfully. And then just make sure you have a good work-life balance. Even when I started with Corning, I was working more than, normal work hours just because I thought that's what I had to do. I was still on the college work mentality and just worked way more than I needed to. So just make sure you put yourself out there, find a social life, leave work at work, and, just make sure you have fun.
I think the current situation is something I can't really relate to. So I'd love to give an intelligible answer for advice on how to handle the current job market and our environment. And I just can't. But the only thing I can think of is what I wish I would have done if I had had the means. I wish I would have taken some time for myself in between graduation from college and starting to work full time, because now I am, my vacation days are subject to where I am as far as time within the company, and that's probably similar in other companies as well. So I wish I would have taken that time to take a few months, and traveling is kind of non-existent right now, but having the option to just kind of take it easy, because as Caitlin said, when I first started, I was working all the time, and I thought I had to do the same thing, and wish I had had that break and a chance to just kind of wind down after school, which I didn't do.
And I guess my advice is kind of what I started with is, never be afraid to just kind of talk to that stranger, quote unquote, whether you're out and about, or even in your company, if you find someone in the hallway, just strike up a conversation. You never know how far that go. And then the last thing is just be at ease with the decisions you make. I know a lot of times as interns or leaving college, or at least you're stressed with so many options of what should I do? What should I do next? Should I take a year off? Should I travel? Should I sign up for this company, etc.? So just kind of, weigh your options, but be at ease with your decision and just go forward and be confident and really don't look back, because there's no time to waste on the past, right? Just keep looking forward.
Thank you. We did have one question come in. I don't know if any of you are comfortable answering it or feel like it's in your wheelhouse, but do you have any advice for people beginning to explore job options outside of their undergrad major?
I mean, I only had a couple IT classes, and I'm not a programmer. I was actually really bad at it. I was a really good code breaker, but can't write code for my life. So, trying to find an IT job was a bit of a struggle, because I think a lot of people look for programming knowledge and experience, which is something that I really couldn't offer. But I think it still comes back to if you're willing to learn. In my opinion, I think that's what really matters. And as long as you put in the effort, I think you'll be just fine.
Thank you. That's a good answer. Does anyone else have any questions? Okay. I don't see any more coming in. So I'd like to thank Konrad and Caitlin and Emily for taking the time to talk to everybody, and we really, really appreciate you answering all of our questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys.